Hey everyone. We have an ailing Don Lemon who is here, and a Joanne Reid who's coming in a second. And Don and me in our pajamas, but he says, you know what? Even though I'm sick, even though I'm tired, I'm gonna make it because we here are going to drag the racists, the hate mongers, the losers, the nerds, the freaks, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Donald Trumps, the Nick Fuenteses. I was just telling Don. Don was on my show last time, and he got into a lot of trouble because they clipped up what he was saying, which was perfectly normal and fine, and made it seem that he was inciting violence against ICE. And I was telling Don, I've been in his position the past week and a half. They have lost their minds because I was responding to Donald Trump's hateful Thanksgiving post. And since then, the outright xenophobia against immigrants. And I did this, I would say, very polite rant against white supremacists and white nationalists. And Don, I said they're losers. I said we who are in the multicultural coalition, which includes white people, have the better culture, the better food, the better music.
Mhm,
We have the better
mhm.
story. And these people have already lost because no matter how hard they try, the world is multicultural. And even if they kick the rest of us out, if they do, they kick out all black and brown and Asian people, overnight, America will turn into a shithole. Oh, Don, you're from the South. I think they call it hit dogs holler. And now the dogs are hollering, and one of the dogs is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Can you tell us your thoughts about what you've witnessed over the past week where MAGA's turning on each other?
Well, let me just say this: if it was, if we got rid of multiculturalism, first of all, the food would be terrible. The music would be terrible. The fashion would be terrible. Because now people are wearing, they're basically copying, the brown and black people influence in society. It's always we have an outsized role in the influence in society, and thank goodness. But what I've learned is that, and I said it this morning on my show. I said that when you build a movement on lies, on conspiracy theories, on QAnon, on PizzaGate, on telling people that a free and fair election was stolen. When you build a movement on that, at some point it's going to come crumbling down because it's built on lies. And now they're all realizing that everything that they said was built on lies and conspiracy theories. You've got um, Milo Yiannopoulos sort of attacking everyone, claiming, making claims that he believes that Charlie Kirk was gay. He's trying to out
What?
Benny
I didn't know. I
Johnson.
didn't know that.
Oh my
Whoa.
gosh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you saw that. He was on Tim Pool's show, and he said, that Charlie Kirk and his wife were divorcing. And I think that he's gay. On with no less, it was Tim Pool and George Santos and Milo Yiannopoulos. And Milo Yiannopoulos was claiming that he's gay, and that meaning Charlie Kirk, and that Benny Johnson is gay, and that there was some other person who is gay, and and George Santos says, "You're going to get sued." He goes, "I've never been sued because what I'm telling is the truth." You got to find all that. They were going back and forth. Benny Johnson threatened to sue. Milo Yiannopoulos came back and said, "Do you really want to lose a lawsuit to Milo Yiannopoulos of all people?" And so you have that, and then you have Tim Pool, who just I don't know if it was
Yeah,
this morning,
went
last
nuclear.
night, went nuclear on Candace Owens, calling her
Yeah.
"see you next Tuesday" for I can't tell you how many times, because she has her certain feeling about what happened to Charlie Kirk. It's really crazy, and so even in his when he went berserk, he said that the MAGA movement is fracturing, and it is. And I think more people are going to drop out of the movement. More lawmakers are going to go the way of Marjorie Taylor Greene because it was all built on a lie and a fantasy. And as Donald Trump's power starts to diminish even more, and it will, more people are gonna leave. They're gonna not be jettisoned. They're gonna jump ship.
To me, the ultimate lie, though, and tracing it really back to it, and you're from the South. You're a black gay man from the South. You know, black folks from the South know this. They've lived this. They've survived this, and those who haven't survived it carry on the memory and the trauma of white supremacy, which I've always said is the enduring sin of this country: white supremacy and unfettered capitalism and greed. And to me, the big lie has always been white supremacy. Right? The big con, Don, has always been white supremacy. It's an ideology, a delusional ideology that promises a romanticized vision of the past and future that will never come to be. And to me, it's always a loser's ideology because the end game is loss. It's impossible to have a master race because there's no master race. It's
Hmm.
impossible to be pure because we're all a mix and combination of things, right? And furthermore, you and I have talked about this when you had the show on CNN. The corporate establishment folks refused to call this racism. Remember that?
Yeah.
Economic anxiety, racial
Hmm.
trip up, racial
Mm.
flare up, and Joy, who we're trying to get on, but Joy's having some technical difficulties. Katie Fang talked to me about this. You said it, I've said it. Each time we tried to be blunt about it, they're like, "Oh no, whitewashing." I mean, haven't they revealed their racist ass in the past week? What more do we need to see?
Well, I mean, it's not. Yeah, come on. Anytime you tell a black woman, a Somalian woman, that she's garbage, and the people and some Somalian Americans are garbage, and that they come from a country that's garbage. I never thought in a million years, before Donald Trump. Now it's just par for the course. But that you'd have a president who would speak that way, and now he is, and he's getting applause from people in that cabinet meeting when he said those things. So, yeah, they reveal themselves. They reveal themselves every single day. I mean, I think Pete Hegseth is a daily reveal of, the sort of white supremacy or white racism, well, white supremacy or entitlement, let's put it that way, entitlement, because he's in a job that he is completely unqualified for. And when he got into that job, when Sean Duffy got his job, when JD Vance got his job, they all stood up there. Do you remember that press conference when they had about the airplanes in Washington, D.C., claiming that they were hiring white people?
Yep. Yep.
They weren't hiring white people, qualified white people. They were hiring minorities over qualified white people. They said the quiet part out loud. So not even just over this last week, since Donald Trump has been in office and this new administration especially, they have been revealing themselves from the very beginning.
I mean, I would go back 10 years, Don. I remember when Donald Trump first went down the escalators, not golden, but brass, and he announced his presidential ambitions by saying Mexicans are rapists and criminals. He's the one who ran on the Muslim ban. He's the man who said, I think Islam hates us. He's the man who, before that, threw his orange toupee into the ring by saying that Barack Obama, our first black president, was actually not a U.S. citizen, and the first black president had to suffer the indignity of actually revealing his birth certificate to the world. This is who he has always been, Don. That's what I want. That's my thesis
Yeah.
here. Is he said in the
Invite
first
joy.
admin
Invite joy. She said, and send her another invite.
all right, here we go.
Um,
I
yeah.
mean, this is a person who said in the first administration, "We come from shithole country. Why do they come from shithole countries? Why
Yeah.
can't they come from Norway?" And we coddled it. And even a couple of months ago, Don, Charlie Kirk, we both, you said it, I've said it, every sane person said it. The murder was horrific, not done by the left, not done by black people, not done by Muslims, done by allegedly Tyler Robinson.
It was drag queens, right?
Oh
No?
yeah, no, no,
Oh,
not
no,
drag
no.
queens, not transgender
Oh, no.
people.
Oh,
It was yeah, Tyler Robinson. We still haven't heard about that much. I wonder why. But they said, he had people like Ezra and others who are part of the white corporate establishment saying, Charlie Kirk did politics the right way. And I sat there and said, man, Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump's politics affect people who look like you and me and our families, Don. Like this coddling was still happening as of 2 months ago. And now they're openly saying, remigrate, which is a Nazi term, literally a Nazi term for ethnic cleansing, and saying that people who look like you and me need to literally be cleansed from America. Is this finally the turning point?
ah. Well, I think is it the turning point? No, I don't think you're ever going to get rid of the racism in America.
Mm.
Um, but I think this is the exposition. This is the exposing even more so of that. I mean, look, remember, we had people marching through Charlottesville, Virginia, saying Jews will not replace us,
Oh, yep.
blood and soil, all that stuff.
Yep.
And then they have nerve enough to claim that the left, that those are the anti-Semites or whatever. And it's like, wait, what? Um, but over the past, I just think it reveals who um, the sort of hidden wound, if you will, of America, which
Mm.
is, which comes from out of slavery. And, but also even more so than the racism that is inherent to a large part, it's also the people who are like Donald Trump, the oligarchs and the rich people. It's people like them who are pitting poor Americans and working class Americans against each other when we actually have more in common than we have differences. So they want to, the culture wars and all of that. Muslims are bad. Immigrants are taking your jobs. Black people are taking your jobs. Women are taking your jobs, and so they keep them fighting. So not only do they capitalize on the racism, because that's definitely inherent, but they also capitalize on the culture of grievance.
Mm.
You have these people all riled up, like the Tim Pools of the world, like the Nick Fuenteses of the world, and they said
Megyn
these
Kelly, a
these
rich
people are
woman with
stealing your
millions of
jobs.
dollars,
Yeah.
still pissed off. The perpetual grievance, I think that's really important because I don't know if you've seen this clip, and I think this is what we're witnessing is just a reboot of what's always happened, especially not exclusively in the South. Have you seen this clip of this Cinnabon employee, this white
Yes.
woman?
She says, "Yes,
Uh,
I'm racist." Yeah,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
are the N word. Yeah.
And then have you noticed that? Okay, Cinnabon responded. She was talking to two Somali customers. One woman was in hijab. They videotaped her. She proudly, for 30 seconds, said, "Yep, N word, N word. I'm a racist. Yep, I'm a racist." She gets fired. Don, you know how much money the mainstream right wing has raised for her?
No. Doggone.
$100,000.
Wow. I'm not. You know what? I shouldn't be surprised. It's hey, this is America. This is America. I'm not surprised. And if you want people to stop calling you racist, like they're always calling us racist. If you want people
Yeah.
to stop calling you racist, then stop acting like racist. Stop being racist. I don't care what someone, I don't care if I worked in an establishment or I got into an argument with someone who happened to be white. The last thing that would come to my mind would be calling them the one word that that you shouldn't call them. You know what I'm saying? Like people use words like even Tim Pool who called um Candace Owens, the see you next Tuesday word. That would never even enter my mind to do that. So in order, I don't care
And
what the
he was
customer.
on his show. He was on his show when he said
Yes.
that.
But what I'm saying is that if I'm in a situation, even if someone is treating me rude or I feel like they're treating me unfairly, I'm not going to stoop to racism or a racist epithet just because I, I'm not going to do it because it's not part of me. It's not in my vocabulary. It's just not what I'm going to do. But you have to be a racist or have thought about this in order to react the way that she did. Otherwise, it's not part of your DNA. Where did she get that from? So the fact that they are, raising money off of it, it's just basically proving my point and your point that the MAGA movement is filled with a lot of bigots, a lot of racists, a lot of homophobes, a lot of anti-Semites, a lot of anti-Muslim Islamophobia. Like that is inherent to many people in the MAGA movement.
Folks, I'm trying to get Joy and Reid on, but I think Substack realizes if they have me, Don, and Joy on for the first time, which was the plan, it'd be too juicy. Don is responding. Don is responding to her, and Don, maybe you could tell her I've sent her multiple invites. I think her Substack is having a glitch, and sometimes on the Substack settings, sometimes someone accidentally clicks, won't accept invites. But let's see.
Send her one more invitation and see
All
what
right, let's
happens.
do it. And as this is happening, though, I think what's important, though, is Dodd, you've heard this before. What they have been saying, and this is, folks, this is not just like some fringe people who raised $100,000 for this racist woman. I want to remind you in the summer, there was that white woman at the playground who called the
The
five-year-old
little
black
kid,
boy,
yeah,
the N-word. They raised
yeah.
$800,000 for her. She's become a hero for them. Look what they did for Kyle Rittenhouse. And if you've seen the explanations, what they're saying is the following: a white man can't be a white man anymore. We're not gonna sit there and take it. What privilege are you talking about? And I'm like, what are you talking about? When was the last time uh white men were oppressed more than black people or black women? What justifies you using the N word? What justifies you being cruel? What justifies you using a remigration? I didn't make you into a Nazi. Don didn't make you into a Nazi. You chose to be a Nazi. You chose to be hateful. You chose to be the N word. But Don, like you said, it's a permanent
What
grievance.
what is it? Let me ask you this real quick. I hate to cut you off. What does it mean I can't be a white man? Is that you think that's what they're saying? I can't be a white man. So then what does that mean? To me, that question is like, what is a woman? It's like, okay, so what is a white man? Does that mean that you have to be a bigot or racist or like what does that mean? You can't be a white man, that you can't say the R word, you can't say the N
Yes.
word? Like, is
Yes.
that what does
That
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 mean?
that's what in the first Trump administration, NPR did a poll and said that, the majority of white folks, a small majority of white folks that they interviewed, said, being white was one of the most marginalized communities in America. A couple of months ago, they did another poll and said, white men are finding it tough to truly be themselves in the workforce. They can't say what's on their minds. And I think what Donald Trump revealed and what these folks always reveal is when what's on some of their minds, especially when it comes to the MAGA movement. Not all white folks. Most of our viewers are white. Hello, we love white people. We love white subscribers. Don's married to a white man. Some of my favorite subscribers are white people. We ain't talking about you. We're talking about the racists and the hate mongers. I think it's exactly what you said, Don. It's I want to say the N word. I want to say the R word. I want to say the F word. And the fact that I have to police myself and the fact that I have to live with equality, to me, that's oppression. And once you saw the 2016 election, that zombie narrative, economic anxiety, it kept being bandied about for 10 years. And I kept saying, it ain't economic anxiety. That's one of the reasons. The main reason is cultural anxiety. And every single data point showed, Don, that the main people who voted for Donald Trump, it was due to a fear of being replaced, the cultural anxiety, the fear that Don Lemon has a TV show and no longer Tom Brokaw, the fact that Wajahat Lee is on Substack and no longer, say, Tim Pool, the fear of cultural replacement, which, if you go back to the South and you see what they were writing about, same thing, the lost cause. The white men can no longer be white. Oh, the blacks are taking over. I don't know if you've seen that movie Birth of a Nation, which I think is the textbook example, one of the top
I
5
haven't
movies
in
that always should
years.
be shown about America, right? That whole movie
Yeah.
was, you forced us to become KKK members to save our white women because this is what happened when black people were emancipated. They took over and we had to save our culture and our purity. Done.
Man, I haven't watched Birth of a Nation. You know, they play it every year on Turner Classic Movies, right? And I usually try to tune into it. But yes, you know, it's funny when people start to work with me, you know, because they're not involved. Like some of the folks who work with me, my social media team, my new team here on my show, and they'll go and they look at the comments and go, you know what? There are a lot of people who are really jealous of you. I said, jealous? And yeah, like like white men are really jealous of you. They're in your comments about everything, or they realize it before, you know, something that I've realized a long time, or they want to sleep with you because they're obsessed with all this gay stuff and that you're gay and that's the only way that they can criticize you. And it seems like they want you. I'm like, it's bizarre, but I don't
Is it
disagree
though?
with
But
you.
is it bizarre, Don? Is it though? Doesn't it track
No,
with you and Bigotry?
no, it tracks with, but you know, it tracks with my experience. But the weird thing is that when you know, I get these comments and they're mainly from, you know, white men, and they'll say, "You suck, you're not shit, we don't care about you." Um, you think that you're, you know, better than whatever. And I said, what am I supposed to think about myself? Am I supposed to be some underachiever that fits
Mm.
into your narrative of what a black man or a black person should be like to make you feel better about yourself? Joy!
I don't know. Well, hold on. Now I got to figure out how I can hear y'all. Hold on. Maybe I got to put it.
Oh,
Okay,
Can
that's
you
now that
hear
is it.
us?
Look, let me
Yeah.
tell you something. I've been having challenges with this little tech this morning. It was giving me an error and it was saying, no, you can't join this live. It's too
You got
dangerous.
99 problems and tech is one.
It's one. It's the
Joy,
only
I
one.
was saying this is the first time all 3 of us have been on. All 3 of us, I think maybe I get the bronze, Don gets the silver, Joy gets the gold for triggering MAGA. Each time, Joy's on, they make clips. Each time Don's on, they make clips, and you miss it. We were just
It's okay.
dragging these, right-wing, probably closeted gay white dudes who troll Don because they probably wanna have sex with him, and they
I
hate
mean,
themselves. And they know deep down that white supremacy is a loser's ideology. They're threatened by multiculturalism, and hit dogs holler. And Don was just talking about how his team, filled with these young, cool, I think probably Gen Zers, are saying, you know, all these white guys who are doing racist stuff against you, I think they secretly want you. And I was telling Don, isn't this so a perfect encapsulation of America. It's all projection, self-loathing, rage, right? All these MAGA people who hate gay people, now we're finding out they're allegedly grinding and pounding. Uh, sorry, too soon. Too soon.
Uh,
All these people who hate diversity, we realize they have brown wives like JD Vance. Um,
Oh,
this 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 projection, this self-loathing, because I believe Don and Joy, seriously, deep down, white supremacy is a loser's narrative, and I believe, Joy, they know they're losers. Your
yeah.
response?
My response, first of all, is I still wanna know who's Bubba. I just need to know who's Bubba. I need his identity. I think this is the journalistic question of our time. And the second thing is because it's a fascinating story, and I just wanna know who that is. But I agree with you because you think
Whoever they are,
about
he blew him, but that's what they said.
that's what they said, and it's not me. Don't get mad, Fox. Don't get mad at me, right wingers. It was in the Epstein file. They said he was blowing Bubba. I just wanna know who it is. That's all. It's just as a journalist. Okay. And second of all, I think you're right. I think if you think about it, you're right. Because most men, straight men, and we all know lots of straight men, they don't think about gay people. They don't talk about it. It's not like a thing that they fixate on all the time. They don't sit around talking about it all the time, unless maybe they got a grinder account in the back pocket. You know what I mean? It's like, because you're
Hmm.
talking about it a lot
Hmm.
for somebody who claims that this isn't something that you're interested. Just you're talking about it a lot. So that's one thing. But the second thing I would say is on the white supremacy piece, which I think you've nailed this really watch, is the people who claim that there's a superiority there. How do they explain the fact you had a 400-year head start on everyone in this chat? You had a 400-year head start on all three of us. So if you're still not a billionaire, if you're still broke, if you're still struggling, and if you're still angry that you can't get into Harvard, why can't you? Because if you're sort of naturally superior, you shouldn't have to worry about there being black competition or brown competition or female competition. Why are you so triggered by just the competition from people of color? Why did just the presence of them trigger you? You had a 400-year head start. You should all be Elon Musk. Why do you have to come from out of the country to be a billionaire in your country? Maybe you should start asking yourself questions about what you're doing wrong personally and stop fixating on other people.
I
Mm.
wouldn't wish
Well,
anyone I wouldn't wish anyone becomes Elon Musk because he's such a loser. He's so broken.
That
But
too.
Don, I didn't mean to cut you off. Joy came on, I introduced her, but you were
oh,
talking about
yeah.
your experience with these folks and how they come after you, but you feel
No.
like it's a type of envy.
Oh, it is. It's like love and hate. Look. I don't mind it. Hate watch me all you want. Just make sure you like and subscribe, and I'm cool with it.
Please.
It doesn't matter to me. And even the trolls in the comment, it doesn't matter. But I mean, Watch. Think about this. You're a heterosexual man. Are you threatened by transgender people? Are you threatened by me as a gay person? Do you think I'm taking your job? Do you think that all of a sudden I'm gonna I don't know what molest you or something? You know what I'm saying? It's just
I've
bizarre.
said this publicly. I've only been threatened by you and Joy because black doesn't crack, and Don can be either 85 years old or 35. That's the only thing that makes me threatened is the
Firm
nice
but
skin.
fair.
That's it. Other than that, no. I think secure, confident heterosexual men know who they are, and they're not threatened. And speaking about transgender folks, the stupidity of this, Don, in Pakistan, Karachi, Pakistan, where my family's from, they mock Karachi in Pakistan. They call us all shitholes and this and that. You go to Karachi, Pakistan right now. You could go to Friday prayer. You come out of Friday prayer. You'll see 7 and 8 transgender people. We call them hijra. You'll see women in hijab. You'll see women without hijab. You know what happens? Literally, people live their life. You literally leave Karachi Jinnah Airport, you'll see hijra people, transgender people. And, in the culture, they come and give you money. You're not supposed to curse them or be mean to them. You give them money, say, okay, okay, go. So kids in Karachi, Pakistan have openly seen like 10 or 12 transgender people just walking down the street normally. None of my cousins are transgender, Joy. It didn't convert them to being transgender, right? They don't freak out. This only happens in America. And, Don was saying, I don't know if you've heard the latest juice, but I saw yesterday that Milo Yiannopoulos, who allegedly was once gay, but now it's straight, he's bringing out the tea against Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson is not threatening to sue Milo because he says, I can't believe you keep like spreading rumors that I'm gay and I'm grinding and pounding dudes all the time and I'm going to sue you. Then Milo's like, if you want to sue me, I got receipts. And then Don
Yeah.
told me, I had no idea, that Milo is also alleging that Charlie Kirk might have been gay.
Have you guys
What?
not seen that? You haven't seen
No.
that?
No, no.
Yes. Yeah, that's what he said it on Ten Pole's show. And
You
then,
know,
but he was on Ten Pole's show, Joy, with George Santos, and George Santos was the pushback. I was like, wow.
what is happening? My whole thing is we're in fascism, okay? A tiny handful of billionaires are implementing a surveillance state, which the right
Yeah.
used to think was the worst thing possible. We literally have a half a dozen billionaires attempting to control the world, surveil each and every American, include every gun owner, by the way. And this is what the right is concerned about. Look, my pushback has always been for people who are concerned about trans women in sports, for instance, right? And I think, look, Don, you and I have talked about this. This isn't like you're not crazy for thinking, maybe I should debate whether somebody who went through puberty male should be able to compete with somebody who went through puberty female, or is it a fair competition, right? I don't think
Right.
that's a crazy conversation. And I don't think
Neither.
there's anything wrong with actually being, people I think on the liberal side tend to shut down people from even being curious about that question. And I don't have a problem with that question, right? And I think you should do. But is that the most important thing to think about when it comes to being in fascism? That my thing is it number one priority over whether like 100 million Americans might go hungry this this Christmas season. You know what I mean? I'm like 100
Yeah.
million Americans maybe going hungry and losing SNAP, or 42 million, I'm sorry, losing SNAP, 23 million children being hungry in Christmas season, and the tiny number of trans athletes who are good enough at sports to play sports at a high level. Because
Yeah.
first of all, most Americans are shit at sports. That's why we watch sports, because we watch the elite play, right? Most people are not elite. Then take that number and then go to the tiny number of trans people who exist at all, which is like barely anybody, and then the tiny fraction of them who are good at sports. We're talking about like 4 people. So are we saying that we're going to vote not based on the surveillance state that could track our every move through our phones and our TVs and our smart fridges, the hunger and destitution of maybe 40, 50 million people, the fact that a small number of oligarchs are destroying our democracy, and the like 70,000 trans people who exist, like 10 of whom are good at sports. I'm like, you can debate it. I'm not saying don't discuss it. I think it's actually a fair conversation about trans women in sports. But is it the most important thing? I would say no.
It's not, but it became the
Sorry.
focal point of the 2024 campaign, as you know. Everything is transgender, and it's like, I'm a gay man, and I don't even know that many transgender people. I know
Listen,
some, but it's not like, and the ones I know, I really love. They're really fun. They're smart. They're beautiful. I don't understand it. And
and Don, how
look,
many of the trans women play high level sports?
I mean, they're taking over LeBron and Steph. I mean, my God. I mean, they better watch their back because, they're coming for Burrow's quarterback position. It's all BS. And folks, they spent over $200 million on the anti-trans boogie person in the 2024 elections. And I knew it was going to work like gangbusters because I saw ads during Sunday NFL games. And now they moved on from transgender folks because, like you said, Joy, people are like, you know what? I don't think I've ever met a transgender person. A transgender person is not increasing my grocery prices. A transgender person isn't taking my healthcare. A transgender person isn't taking my Medicaid. So now that he's
and
negative
a
double digits
transgender
on the
person
economy,
is not molesting your kids for the
No.
or
It's them
other
parking,
exceptions
pastors.
to most
It's
things.
them pastors. It's them church.
Right.
What y'all need to be talking about is these churches, because I keep
And
seeing all these clips of these evangelical pastors who are out there raping these girls and boys at school. I mean, in church. That's what you need to be worried. And by
or
the way,
the conservatives,
they're all
every day
conservatives
on my feed, it's like, and then,
every
but
day.
Tim Tebow said it. Tim Tebow said it's middle-aged white men, and we need to be concerned about it. They didn't call him a race
so he said
baiter
that.
or whatever. Oh my gosh, yeah, Tim
Tim Tebow
Tebow.
said it. He
Yes,
said it, middle age.
and
And also, like when we were raising our kids, I would always take our boys into the ladies' room because I wasn't going to send them into a men's room alone at 6, 7 years old. They go into the ladies' room with us. So there were already boys in the women's restroom, okay? Because I was taking them in there, right? And lots of women used
my
to do
mom
that.
did the same thing.
Right. But it wasn't because there were like trans people in the men's restroom. It's because there were men in there. And I'm not going to send my kid in there. And it's not. So I think people are like, they're taking something that in theory they think is frightening or odd to them or just unusual and turning it into a scare tactic. And if I as a woman am in the restroom, I promise you, I've never looked at another woman's contonto when I'm in the restroom. I'm not trying to look at your puchichi. I don't want to know if your puchichi hang down or stand up. Because if I'm looking at your junkity junk while I'm in the bathroom for the wrong reason. And if I care a lot about what's happening between y'all legs in the bathroom, you need to worry about me. Because who's looking at, you're in there to pee and get out. You're supposed to do your business and go. How are you checking to make sure the conchonchonks are the right conchonchonks inside of why are you looking at them? Stop looking at them and pee. Just pee.
It's because it's something inside, Joy, right? The insecurity, the fear, the self-loathing, the realization that there's no such thing as a master race, the realization of your mediocrity, the realization of your fragility, and the inability to process it comes out through violence and rage and anger, right? So it's the transgender today. It's Somalis who literally have not hurt anyone because it wasn't just Somali criminals. He said Somalis are all garbage people. That's what he said, folks.
Yes,
It was the Afghans. Blame all Afghans, even the people who helped the veterans for the sin of one Afghan man, right? It's this incessant rage. And also, just to trigger them, going back to what Don said, because I think it's important, it's a rage and a lust. It's the movie Get Out. Oh, we want their eyes, we want their skin, we want their body, we want their women, but we hate them. Strom Thurmond, didn't he have like tried his
Black
best his
child.
entire life, right? He had the biggest filibuster until Cory Booker against desegregation. Guess what? Had a black kid. Had a black kid, right? So J.D. Vance married Usha, Brandon Gill, who's
Christopher Rufo. Christopher Rufo, wife is Asian. She was undocumented. Look, come on.
oh my, the guy who created the anti-DEI shit, right? So my
Yes.
take on this, Joy, I know you guys got to leave in 5 minutes. I'll keep it and I'll let you go. Thanks so much for making time. I know you're so busy. Is I was talking to Don about this. All of our colleagues, not all of them, but many of them, who for 10 years have engaged in taboo, who said it's just a racial trip up. And we said, I think it's racist. And Joy got in trouble at MSNBC. It's just a racial flare up. Oh, no, it's economic anxiety. Charlie Kirk was doing politics the right way. This week, Joy, where Donald Trump was in a coma and woke up, was like, huh, I'm filing Somalia garbage people, and went back to sleep. Now they're promoting the Nazi term remigrate. Now they're going after end of birthright citizenship. Now that they've fully embraced Nick Fuentes, what more does the corporate establishment and so many of our white colleagues who infantilize this because it did not affect them, their wife, and their children for 10 years, what do they have to say now, Joy? Are the hoods finally off? Will they finally use the R word racist, with what we've been using for 10 years? What do you think, Joy?
I think unfortunately not. I just watched on Ms. Now. We're not going to dead name. She Ms. Now. And I watched a reporter who I don't have anything against this reporter on Ms. Now say that Donald Trump calling Haitian people garbage was just a different opinion. He has a
No
difference
way.
of opinion.
No way.
And
Yes.
so,
Yes.
yeah, they're not going to call it racist because the incentives are all to pander to the right. It's always to pander to the right. There's no liberal media. It's never existed other than in independent media. This is liberal media where we are right now on the left hook. Other than that, corporate media, there's nothing liberal about it. The owners are conservatives who want to do business with Trump. And as long as that's the case and oligarchs own the media, they're always going to lean the way they naturally lean, which is to the right. These are people who may own a liberal network, but they all sit around watching CNBC and worry about their portfolios. It's all about the Benjamins. It's not
Well,
about.
look at what's happening now with this whole Netflix,
Come on.
Paramount
Come
thing. CBS and Warner Brothers. I mean,
on.
it is. And David Ellison was on CNBC yesterday, and he
course.
gave it. He said the quiet part out loud. He said our deal is going to put more money. I think he said like $18 billion into
Yes.
the shareholders' pockets. And I was like, well, wait, what about what's best for America? Do you need
Okay.
18 billion more dollars? They don't really care. This is
They don't
about
care.
controlling the narrative.
And folks,
And the narrative leans in their direction, the direction that they want it, and that's it to the right.
it's the
Because the
1%.
thing about it is, Watch,
Go
I'm sorry to cut you, but you got to
No, go ahead.
realize before I exit is the 1% are trying to re-educate the American people
Hmm.
because what they don't want is empathy and liberalism, particularly among white people. And white folks got to realize that you are the target. Don and Waj and I are not the target. We already know, and our families tell us, and we have an inside track to racism and things. But they are so afraid that if a majority of white Americans, who are still the majority, were to become empathetic to non-white Americans, to gay folks, to trans folks, they might vote in ways that cause rich people to pay taxes. And all of the other stuff is just glitter and nasty gold and gaudy gold on the bottom line, which is that they want to have untaxed, unlimited wealth. And so the purpose of the media is to educate white people to believe in capitalism more than they believe in justice. Because if they believed in justice more than they believed in capitalism, no Republican would ever get elected again, and no Democrat that's a neoliberal would ever get elected again. We would have a country with universal health care. We would have a country where people could go to the ER and not end up broke. We would have a country where people could be educated and not go into debt for the rest of their lives to get a college degree. And that would be a country in which rich people would pay more taxes. And that's
Amen.
all they've ever cared about.
It's the 1% versus the 99%. It's the billionaires versus the rest of us. The culture wars have been used for 400 years to divide us. At the end of the day, folks, we're just people, black, brown, white, Asian. It's just melanin. We're all the same people. Race is a social construct. Don't fall for it. They went after the transgender people. Now they're going after Somalis. They'll go after black folks again. They'll go after, I don't know, Haitians. But at the end of the day, it's the 1% drinking up all your milkshake. It's the Ellisons. It's the Musks. It's the Teals. It's Trump and his billionaire friend. Join the multicultural coalition of the willing. Open your eyes. The hoods are off. There's no dog whistles. It's all out there for you, folks. It's all out there. Will you confront finally the two enduring sins of America, which is white supremacy and capitalism, and will you join the rest of us to actually combat it and reform this country so all of our children, white children, black children, brown children, transgender children, Christian, atheist, Muslims, can inshallah, achieve the American dream? And I'll end on this, and before I give the final word to you guys, is despite me mocking and ridiculing white supremacists, white nationalists, hate mongers, and bigots, despite them always dispensing cruelty against us simply for existing and succeeding, Don and Joy, I say with my Muslim faith, I don't need you to suffer in order to feel great again. I don't want you to suffer in order to feel great again. Despite you dispensing cruelty to me, I still want your children to have affordable health care, to get married, to have kids, to have the American dream. That's the American vision that I dream of, and that's the difference between
Yeah.
me and you.
Mm.
Final word to Joy and Don. The final question is, they're telling us now, go back. Go back. Get out of here. Don, your response to MAGA who's telling you to go back.
Well, I don't really know where to go back to because the records from my past and my family, they don't go back that long because of the original sin of the United States, which is slavery. So my ancestors were enslaved people who built this country for free. I'm not going anywhere. This is my country. So if you want to go back, we can go back. But if you go back, then we need to start finding some of the receipts so that we can, give some reparations to people like me and Joy. So that would be great. That's it.
Joy, your response.
My answer is my response is very simple. My people were immigrants to this country. I know my ancestry all the way back to Ghana and the Congo, and my answer is emphatically no.
Uh,
I ain't going nowhere. Y'all got to
my,
deal with me.
my
Live with
answer
it.
is this. My answer is this. I'll go, but I got to take Usha and Melania with me.
Oh no! Why would you do that to the people of Pakistan?
Listen,
They don't
listen.
want them.
If I'm going, Baron's going, Usha's going, Vivek, JD Vance's biracial kids are going.
Oh,
We're all
good.
going. All right, that's the rule. I'm a fair person, as you know.
All or nothing.
All right, Don, promote yourself shamelessly.
The Don Lemon Show on YouTube. Check it out. YouTube, Twitch. We stream live on Instagram and TikTok and what is it? And where else? Facebook.
And Substack.
We're
And
all over. And Substack. We're on the Substack app, so I'm saying that. But and on Substack, of course. So anywhere you get streaming. And so thank you for your support. Support independent journalists like us because we are the now and the future, and we don't have the corporate oligarchs telling us what to say. It's not filtered through a corporate media lens. So yes, that's it. Like and
Joy.
subscribe.
Yes, please. Like and subscribe. Support me. Support Don. Support Waj. Independent media. I'm at The Joy Reid Show, which is at thejoyreidshow.com on YouTube. We stream live Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Substack as well as on YouTube. And then we do show up on occasion on Facebook and Twitch and all that. I'm scared of Twitch a little bit, but we're going to try that too. All right. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate it. I got to go.
Thank you all.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Thank you,
Everyone.
Waj.
Take care, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.